Hey there, everyone. So, I've got way too much bulk to sort out. Like, it's a lot. You can see some of it in the background right over here. Anyway, now that I've moved into this office, I've been putting a lot of thought into how I want to actually change up my processes. How exactly am I going to sort through all this bulk? So, I'm a pro seller on TCG Player. Here's a shameless plug for my pro seller website. Go check it out. And I've heard a lot about how game changing the Quicklist software is, using just a regular old little webcam and scanning all the cards to add them to your inventory rather than having to type them all in and do all the fiddly stuff that way. So I thought, why not use now to as like the perfect time to test that out? I'm working on changing up processes. Now's the perfect time to test it. So after a bit of trial and error to get the software working like it should, I figured out the perfect test of what it would be like to add Quicklist to my process. I had 2,000 cards roughly of Astral Radiance, or Brilliant Stars. I think it's Brilliant Stars. Already sorted, separated out. I need to alphabetize them for my inventory. I need to add them to my inventory on TCG Player. I can do one half of them with Quicklist and one half without. So I'll take 1,000, do my normal process of alphabetizing them, and then manually going down the pricing tab and typing in the quantities and adjusting prices and things like that. And then I'll take the other 1,000 and I'll scan them with the Quicklist software and then alphabetize them while they're still in my hand. And that way it tests which one's better, which one feels more efficient, which one takes longer. I'm using all bulk from the same set just to make it as identical a stack of cards as possible. So really the only thing that is being tested, the only thing that will change the length of time that the process takes, is using Quicklist to add to inventory versus using the pricing tab to add to inventory. And I'm not biased towards one process or the other. I'm really happy to switch to Quicklist if it's going to turn out to be faster. I'm really happy to stay the way I am if Quicklist turns out that it's slower than my process. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, here we go. We're starting with the Quicklist version. Let's see if we can make this go quickly, like the name says. We are combining two steps here by making it scan and make a list, as well as alpha sorting it at the same time. I was having considerable issues with Magic. About half the time I'd lay the card down to get scanned, it was giving me an error and telling me that it was, or not an error, but it was misscanning it as like old school inserts and welcome deck cards and world championship cards and advertisement cards from the past. I'm not using a fancy white or gray play mat, though if I do end up doing this long term, then I will get one of those, but I'm just using a sheet of paper that I've drawn 4 little dots on here to know where exactly to place the card and have a reference in the little image down in the corner of my screen there. It definitely slows down the alpha sort, but it's doing this other work along with it, so maybe this will actually be helpful. With the Magic cards I was trying before, I was trying to include the scanning as part of the step that involves set sorting, but here we're going to just do all from the same set. That way we know if we're getting errors from the wrong set or something like that. We're doing Pokemon instead of Magic. They're a little easier to tell apart. Way fewer cards that are printed that are identical except for tiny set symbol changes or list card markers down in the corner. It seems to be going pretty okay today. We're hitting an error here. It's not picking up the right card here, so we're going to close that. And yes, it's a Spiritomb from Brilliant Stars. There we go. Another issue I was having is when I was doing Magic the other day, is that anytime it came up with something like that where I had to pick something, when I picked something, it would then freeze for 30 seconds to a minute, which severely slowed down the process. Love to see these double turbo energies. Market price at 20 cents is good. I know Barry and Collapse Stadium are all selling pretty quickly. Cynthia's Ambition as well. A lot of decent demand. They're going pretty quickly through the direct program. They say they have a bright light, but it almost seems like the lighting just from the sunlight from the window is too bright for this, because sometimes it has a hard time seeing the cards, it seems like. I think that was the issue I was running into with Magic too, is that it's having a hard time seeing anything but the text sometimes, and then since there's just text there, it's thinking that it's one of those just texted advertisement cards or things from the past. Specifically having a hard time with Pot Helmet from this set for whatever reason. I am glad that it's not doing these frustrating errors and misscans and things that it was doing with the Magic. Maybe that's the secret, is to get set sorts done for a big chunk at first. I mean, I was scanning things all from the same set with Magic, and it was just giving me issue after issue after issue. It was really frustrating. This is actually going quite a bit more quickly than that ever did. Choice Belt's another good one to hit. Marnie's Pride sells quickly. It's got Marnie on it. Okay, gotta do some stack maintenance here. Yeah, all in all, this is going much smoother than I was having. Much smoother than the Magic was going the other day. Let's see how this actually rolls out. It still feels kind of slow, but maybe that's just me because I'm used to sorting on turbo. This is a little tedious. Shelter's starting to burn a little bit, but you know, it's not any more or less tedious than the other version of sorting goes, so not really a market for or against it. We're at 200 cards scanned now, and yeah, I mean, we're not finding super expensive cards or anything, but a lot of decent bulk plus, ultra balls, double colorless energy, some of those other trainers, and all these little 5-cent cards add up. I had a sale that I shipped just yesterday that was like 300 cards, but only 8 different Pokemon. 54 Machops from XY Evolutions and stuff from all over the place. So used to just sorting, and I started to sort it without putting it under the scanner. That's a misscan right there. It's picking up some promo Bunnelby instead of this ball toy. There we go. Now it's got ball toy on there. Not sure why, but this process is triggering the sleepies in me a lot more than my normal process. We're just over 500 cards scanned now. We're halfway through this first row. We're at 53 minutes recording, so it's still a considerable amount of time. Alright, we're at 600 cards. 3/5 of the way done with this row. We're getting there. We're getting close. We're over 750 cards done. You can see every now and then the software just hangs up for a second or 3 or 5, and every time it does that, it just feels so inefficient and slow, like I'm waiting around for the software. We'll see when we compare it to the other process, see which one's better. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that looks like. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible going into it because I want one of them to be better, and I want to go with whichever one is the better. I'm not stuck on sorting it myself if this is better. I'm not stuck on using Quicklist if the other sort, the older version, the manual sort, is better. But I definitely don't want to go and pick one based on feelings and based on advice. This is a let's see for ourselves process. And hopefully show you guys in such a way that you don't have to necessarily test it yourself unless you are testing it against your own processes. And I would encourage you to do that. Maybe you have better processes, maybe you have a better version of this process. Anyway, this version is the last possible way I can see it being helpful, because scanning while it was set sorting, leaving all those other steps that needed to be done after they were scanned, was definitely not working. Too much friction between when it's scanned and when it should be on the shelf. Even with this process, at this point, it's still going to have to be alphabetized within each of these letters after the scan. But that can be done as it's being put into the box to take over to the shipping department. Yep, another random miss scan. Let's get rid of that one. We're close to being done with this row. The scan through. Just past 1,000 cards and just past $40 of market price. So the market price on, at least for Astral Radiance, is about $40 per thousand, which means that if I'm selling them all through direct and I sold them at exactly the market price, then $20 per thousand was what I paid for them, about breaks even, since I'm going to be paying about half of that. And the market price for bulk seems to be making sense, despite all the sky is falling problems. It's not like the market price for bulk doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, there's all the cards in that row scan, 1,040. We'll have to alphabetize these, so I'll get to that step next. This step is necessary because these cards have to be in order to be pulled for orders, and to sort into the existing inventory that's already on the shelf. Now this is a step that will also be done during the other process, so I have to include it as part of this process or it's not a fair comparison. So, because in the other process, we have to sort and alphabetize them and then work down the list on the pricing tab to set the prices. And that works best if you go in order rather than bouncing around up and down. It's a lot less efficient, it takes a lot longer. So since you've got to sort them anyway, you might as well sort them as part of this process. And so anyway, okay. Ball toy, berry, bear tick, Bidoof. together a total of 2 hours, like right on the dot. So we're getting started with the alpha sort of the second row. Instead of using the quick list, we're going to sort it by hand and then list it by hand with the pricing tab. This row apparently had a little bit of foil stuff in it, so it may take me slightly longer just because of that. Just because I need to sleeve it real quick. Looks like that was most of it. Here we go. Interest. I don't know that this is going to end up being quicker or slower than the other process. I have suspicions, but I don't know. That's what the test is all about. I'm trying to be as impartial as possible because I want to use the one that works best, obviously. Hopefully it's not all mixed in completely with foils, because that won't be a true test. There are some rares mixed in with this too, so that's nice, but it's not really going to affect the sort itself, but the foils being mixed in might, if there's a whole lot of them. Reverse hollows are not easy to spot sometimes. Okay, just a couple in that one. Doop, doop. Got me doubting myself on these. Make me think that they're reverse hollows when they're just glossy. Does anyone know if the V-Star cards are even sellable? Or do they have a listing on TCGplayer? We'll look at that when we're actually listing everything. It'll be on the list of cards if it's there. Looks like there weren't any hollows mixed in with that stack, so maybe we're done with hollows mixed in. Not that I'm particularly against hollows, I just wanted this to be as close to the same type of bulk as the first pass with the click list, so that it's as much as a controlled comparison as possible. Tell you, it definitely does feel like I'm going through the cards a lot more quickly than I was with the sort yesterday, with the quick list sort. Almost halfway through my 1,000 already as far as this step, so that's pretty good. Even with the hollows mixed in, the quick list sort, it felt like the scanning part was holding everything else back. It was making this go slower, and maybe that's just a personal bias on my part because I'm used to going quick turbo through it, but it just really, it felt slow. But sometimes feeling slow means you're going fast and you're getting everything done right, and we'll just see. We'll see how long the other steps take. And to be clear, this step, this particular process, was part of the process yesterday, obviously, as well as the next step where we're going to sort them within each of these letters. But we'll do that as we list them. Over at the computer. And that will be the difference between the two processes, is the listing at the computer on the pricing tab when we are sorting these stacks versus the Quicklist scan and then sorting everything out. We'll say you don't get the satisfaction of seeing the numbers pile up and watching your $20 purchase of bulk add up to $50, $60, $70 of sellable cards. But you can just know that. If you know you're not going to sell any card for less than 5 cents, and they will all eventually sell at some point, and 1,000 cards is, what, $50 at the minimum? And then a lot of these are above 5 cents. So, Ultra Balls at 24 cents, Choice Belts at 23 cents. So, feel confident that the bulk is worth its price. If you're getting it at a good price. Now don't go buy bulk repack lots, like 100 cards for $10 or whatever. That's overpaying. And none of those listings are really like transformative of the bulk. That's taking this, making sure there's not duplicates in it, and then repackaging it and selling it. Don't buy those. Okay, last handful of these, and then we'll sleeve up those hollows real quick, and then we'll get started with the listing and alphabetizing within the letters. Okay, there's that. So they're sorted. We're at 25 minutes into the recording, and that was even with the added wrinkle of these. Remember, this is almost exactly the same number of cards. It was just took up the same amount of room in the box, almost a full row. So even if it's not exactly the same, it's within 0.1%. It's within 10 or 15 cards. Okay, there, that step is done. Okay, just getting this stuff moved over to the front of the computer screen. Adding that as part of the time, just because, even though it's a necessary step, it's part of the process. You can't just avoid talking about those things. Of course, we did have to take all these stacks and stack them up just like this yesterday, so there's that too. Okay, I think I'm all situated. Added a few minutes onto the time, but we'll just go with it. Let's see, we're going to switch this to Pokemon. We're going to switch this to, what do we say, Brilliant Stars, right? Sword and Shield, Brilliant Stars. Advanced filters, we're going to go with normal, hollow foil, reverse hollow foil. Only near mint condition, all rarities are okay. Make it show all the items total. Alright, so now we've got this list. It's nice and alphabetical. We've got our cards, they're in stacks starting with the first letters, so we'll just sort them out real quick. Okay, for a Sorola's Premonition, we're going to change some prices while we're at it, so we'll just do that. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So now we've got 23 of that. And then we've got one reverse hollow. Here we go. For Axew, we'll just scroll down the list. We get to Axew here, and we are. We'll add on to this 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. And that's it. And we take our B's. This is the same process that I had to do yesterday, or had to do with the Quicklist sort. Oops. But instead of scanning every single card, we're typing them in and setting the price at the same time. crazy. Okay. So first B, we got Ball Toy. Also, hopefully it shows us the list of alphabetic cards, so we don't have to try and figure out what the alphabetized order is as we're picking them up. 56, 7, 8, 9, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 1, 2, 73. You can see I'm having to add on the number of cards I have here to the existing amount in the inventory as it shows over here. This is just what we have to do because they don't have a way to just add a certain amount. You have to change the quantity to the correct number. Maybe they will get that changed in the future. I've had a lot of people ask me about that. But 27 berries. Next is Bear Tick. We have 1, 2, 3, well, sorry, Bear Tick. Here we go. $29, $30, $31, $32, $33, $34, $35, $36. And then 2 reverse hollows. Next is Bibarel. We don't have any Bibarel. Next is Bidoof, which have been selling pretty quick, seems like. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Blunder Policy, we've got 2 more there. 20. Next is Breloom. We've got 1 Breloom. So makes 5. Weasel. 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. Burmy. 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 78, 59, 60. I know this is super compelling video content and all, but it's what you gotta do. And again, this step isn't any different from the step from the quick list sort, because this all still has to be done in order to have everything organized on the shelf, so that when you get an order for, or 4 different orders for 3 Cherubies each in a day, you're not spending hours picking them out of a row of 1,000 or 2,000 cards. They're all together and ready to pick very quickly. You could save the time by not organizing them this way, but that will come back and bite you on the back end. It's not like when you're selling a lot of high-end items or a lot of unique items where there's only one of everything. It's definitely different when you're selling lots and lots of the same thing lots and lots of times. So our first C is Cafe Master. 66, 1, 62, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 78. I'm gonna need to buy some Chimchars. And while this row had more reverse hollows and stuff in it, it had a lot less trainers randomly mixed in it. So these are all cards that I bought in bulk at Collecticon Charlotte back in June, and I'm just now getting through now that I've finally got the office here set up. Okay, so Far-Fetched. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 58. So the order that they're in the boxes is, all I've done is set sort them, and other than that, that's how they came to me. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34 Floatzel. So we're about halfway through our listing here, and we are at 53 minutes, so we're cruising right through this. Garchomp, here we go. We got a hollow Garchomp, not a reverse hollow. Boom. And then we got Manaphy. gone up since the last time we priced it. That's cool. 3 of those. Nice to find that in bulk that I bought for 2 cents a piece. You'll note that on top of what I was doing with yesterday's, I'm also setting prices today. So it's actually an additional piece that I'm doing. I'm setting prices and adjusting prices on cards I'm not even listing because they didn't happen to be in this stack of 1,000. But I do have an inventory and the prices need to be adjusted. So it's not a hugely time-consuming step, but it is an additional piece of work that is being done during this whole process on top of what was being done with the Quicklist process. With Quicklist, even if you're looking at the prices before you upload your staged inventory or whatever, set it to go live, you're only looking at the cards that you scanned and not anything else. So here you're looking at the whole set. This is Pachirisu 27, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm, changed the price, or I listed those, and then I'm also going to change the price on the reverse holo because I have one in inventory. It hasn't sold, even though I didn't have it right here. Piplup. Everybody loves Piplup. 47, 8, 9, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 61, 2, 62. Probopass. 24. And then we've got, hey, V-Star token. That is a card that's in here. So let's put those in here. We got 4 of those. Maybe they'll sell. Who knows? And save. Okay, we're at 1 hour and 17 minutes of recording. So there you go. So there we have it. 1,000 cards through both processes. I recorded both processes in full-length videos available on my Patreon. And while I was able to process 1,000 Pokemon bulk in 2 hours with Quicklist, it only took me 1 hour and 20 minutes to do it with my old process using the pricing tab, which is a very significant difference. Adding 50% more time onto the process is just really not worth it for anything that Quicklist is bringing to the table. You were able to see too that I could adjust prices as I went along rather than pricing only after the fact with Quicklist, and I could adjust prices for other cards in the same set that weren't represented by this stack of cards that was right there in front of me. So what are you guys' thoughts about this? Was my test fair? Did I overlook some big efficiency upgrade that Quicklist offers? Was I just missing something? Is there a better process I could use? I will say before I did this, I tested it while set sorting, and that took exponentially longer. It was just really, really ridiculously slow. That's why I ended up settling on this as the last final test. So at this point, unless somebody tells me a really good reason why I should reconsider, I'm not going to be adding Quicklist into my bulk sorting process. If you want to see more about my process or see any other tips, make sure you subscribe. Like this video at least if it's helpful to you so that it can get to other people. And other than that, have a good day.